Hello, hi. Um, I was requested to make, someone requested, well, a couple people requested that I make more videos, fairy tale related, Gruvia related, and thank you. I'm glad that you enjoy them, that my previous ones, and that you'd like more. That makes me happy, so thank you. Um, but yeah, if it looks like I'm wearing the same thing I was wearing in my unboxing video that I just did, is because I just did it. It's the same day. So so yeah, if you're interested in Harry Potter, go check that out. I also talk about like my time in Florida in September, where I went to Universal Studios and I went to the Wizarding World. So just an aside about that. But yeah. But this is going to be about fairy tale and specifically Gruvia because it's me. So yeah. I haven't done a video since 500 when Gray went on his like rampage against Invul because Invul deserved it. And because why was he on a rampage? Because Juvia died. She died. But then we saw that she was fine. She was alive. Like, of course she is, because, it's fairy tale. But yeah, she was alive, but Gray didn't know this. So he was very mad. He was, to say the least. He was pretty furious, and he was very upset. He was in grief. He was grieving. He was devastated and good because that I wanted that rage and that sadness because it just shows how much he really just he again, if there's no question at this point, Gray loves Julia. He loves her back the same way she loves him romantically. And to start off with, even I will say that we even got Fairy Tale had an exhibition. All right, so there was an exhibition in Japan in September that was Mashima's drawings over the years of Fairy Tale, and he even did some new stuff. And people who attended the exhibit, basically, they had tickets you could buy, and they had like a Natsu ticket, a Lucy ticket, Erza, Gray, Wendy, and they had also Juvia and Gajeel, but they had some couple tickets as well. So they had Natsu Lucy tickets, and they had Gray Juvia tickets. Now, so depending on what day you went and on which ticket you bought, you would get a corresponding postcard that had new art on it to go with an autumn theme that Mashima drew specifically for the exhibition. So Natsu, if you went on Natsu's day, you got a Natsu themed, autumn themed postcard, which was food related because it's Natsu. I'm pretty sure that was food related. Um, and like Juvia had like a basket full of like also food, like autumn harvest kind of situation. And Gray's was like art. Um, but I may be wrong about Natsu's. Maybe it wasn't food. I'm pretty sure it was food. It's Natsu. But anyway, and Natsu and Lucy's was like moon viewing, which was really cute. And Gajeel's even, they had Gajeel wasn't Gajeel by himself. It was Gajeel and Levy, and theirs was like travel. And but Juvia and Gray. Oh, still, literally, I have that postcard. You can't see it. It's on my wall. My dear friend Marie, hi Marie, if you ever watch this, but my dear friend Marie actually bought that for my birthday. A postcard from the exhibition that Japanese people who went and they got it on the day that they had the Gruvia ticket. They received that postcard, and what is so glorious about this postcard? It was literally the cutest Gruvia picture in existence up till now. All right, is Gray and Juvia walking together. Juvia's got her arms around Gray's arm, and she's got like her cheek pressed up against his shoulder, and Gray's looking at her, and she's looking at him, and they're both smiling. Gray is smiling, okay? He's grinning at her. He's a little sweat drop because he's super nervous, because they're both blushy. They're clearly on a date. There's no doubt about it. Gray's in a suit. Juvia's in a cute little skirt and blouse, and she's got a different hat. And they're just clearly on a date. And the reason they're clearly on a date is because, like I said, there was an autumn theme, and so it'd be like autumn of art and autumn of harvest and stuff like that. But for them, it was autumn of romantic love, is what it said on that postcard. Like, there's no even debate whether this is like romantic or not. It is clearly romantic, and they're clearly on a date, and I love it. It's just the cutest thing. I mean, I can't. It's like my background on my computer. It's like I said, it's on my phone. I love that picture. I love it. I adore. So much love for that picture. So cute. So I really, 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 really love that it's so blatant now. Like Gray and Juvia, they're in love. All right, and if you can't tell, it says it right there. Romantic love. Okay. Thank you, Sensei. Thank you so much. So happy with that. That's so cute. So there's that. Okay, so that was great. But there's been other chapters since chapter 500 and chapter 499, the Gray and Juvia chapter, that have had sprinkles of, Gruvia, kind of. I'm gonna look at the chapter now because it's been a while. I have only read these chapters like once basically when they came out. So I'm just gonna like go back to it so I can explain my feelings while I read those parts. So I'm on basically chapter 504, and this is after, like, I mean, at the end of 503, we saw Gray run into Natsu. So we were looking forward to that, like, very hyped up Gray versus Natsu fight. That kind of fizzled eventually, unfortunately, but it did. But yeah. So, yeah, they're basically, Gray's flashing back. He's obviously convinced that when Invil told him, which is basically that, Natsu's end, and, that he basically is programmed to destroy Zareth, and that he's always been Zareth's little brother, and Gray went after Natsu, and Gray went after Natsu to confirm it for himself. Obviously, Natsu's been his best friend for years. He's known him for years, and Natsu is sitting around saying, Zareth, get out of my way. I have to kill Zareth. And he won't answer Gray. Because Gray says, who would have guessed my greatest foe was so close to me this whole time, masquerading as my greatest rival. Now, see, the thing is, Invil put all these thoughts into Gray's head. You have to also think what kind of state Gray is in, first of all, in that he's grieving and he's enraged because he just lost another person, his most important person, Juvia. So he is in a very bad place, and his mind and his emotions are all twisted up. So, and like Invil said, he wanted Gray to kill Juvia so that he can be plunged further into that darkness, so he can manipulate Gray into killing N. And that kind of ended up happening, almost, because he was falling for what Invil was saying, that, and the thing is, everyone got all mad at Gray, which was so stupid. I mean, not the people in the story, the people reading the story. And it was like, hello, the whole point of why Gray feels so betrayed by Natsu. You're saying, oh, it's not Natsu's fault. He didn't kill Juvia. Natsu hasn't done anything to Gray. No, see, because Gray basically asked directly, like, is this true? And all Natsu could say is, get out of my way, basically. So I have to kill Zareth. So he basically confirmed what Invil was telling him. And in that situation, Gray is assuming that Natsu has always known he was End, has always known he was Zareth's little brother, and has been lying to him this entire time while pretending to be his friend. So that is why Gray's pissed off and is like, you are my enemy. I'm going to kill you because you have been betraying me this entire time and betraying Fairy Tail this entire time by being fake and lying. So that's why he wanted to kill Natsu. That was the reason. And again, Gray was manipulated. He's in a bad, dark place because of the loss of Juvia. That's why I said this was ages ago. I said that Juvia needed to die for several reasons, and also because I couldn't see any reason why Gray would attack Natsu, if not because he just lost Juvia and therefore he's all mixed up in his head and in his heart. And that's exactly what happened. So people getting mad at Gray, you're thinking about it from the overall story perspective, what you know. You're not thinking about it of what Gray knows. You're not looking at it from his point of view. You're looking at it from an overall reader's point of view of what information you have and not what information Gray has. Gray has the information from Invul that Natsu is End and Natsu is Zaref's little brother, and he's always been this. And Gray went to try and confirm it with him, and Natsu didn't deny it. Natsu just said, get out of the way, and that was enough confirmation for Gray, so he's like, okay, because, again, another thing that Invul did was saying, Zaref and his demons are the reason why all this crap has happened to you over the years, why you've lost so many people, your family, your entire village, your teacher, and now Juvia. And that's what Gray was going on. He's like, I've lost everybody, and Juvia too has been taken away from me because of creatures like you. And you've been by my side this whole time. You dared pretend to be my friend is basically the situation. So I completely understand why Gray was mad, and I completely understand why he was going after Natsu, why he was intent on killing, because he's had enough. He's had enough of this situation. He can't take it anymore. His heart can't take it anymore. And so that's why he attacked Natsu. That's it. I mean, it's not hard to understand. And I don't know why everyone got so mad. It's pretty simple. It's pretty laid out. You want to be mad at Gray? Go ahead. But, I mean, we're past that now. But I just had to get that out there. It's like, that's all it was. Okay, I understand exactly why Gray was acting that way. And it made sense to me. That's me. It made sense to me. So, yeah, poor Natsu, though, because I was like, poor Natsu, he didn't do anything. But, yeah. But yeah, here he is saying, my parents, all because of Zaref's demons, they, and now Juvia, you're part of the group that... So, that's Gray talking. And I just love that he brought up Juvia to Invul, he's bringing up Juvia to Natsu. This is what is driving Gray and his rage and his sadness and his grief and everything. I love that Mashima keeps hammering that into our heads, that he is so distraught because Juvia. Okay, that was a person he must never, he never wanted to lose her. She was the most important, and she was gone to him, as far as he knew. So we had that. Now, everybody thought at this time, okay, it was so obvious to everybody, that Juvia and Lucy would come in and stop the fight that was going on. That they would see, because that was the other thing, and I love Nalu too, so this was exciting. I was like, oh my god, because it wasn't just Gray who thought Juvia was dead. Natsu thought Lucy was dead, and that's what triggered the end situation for him, in my opinion. And I mean, he was already kind of turning into, but that pushed him to the limit. And so they both thought, they were both fighting basically because their waifus are dead. And therefore we all thought said waifus would come and stop the fight. Okay, they'd see Juvia was alive, they'd see Lucy was alive, and they'd be like, oh, we're idiots. Again, Gray needed to check for a pulse. And Natsu, people made the point that Natsu didn't know that Lucy was alive because in that moment, Di Maria had stopped time. Right? So he wouldn't have felt a pulse or anything because she was frozen in time. I accept that explanation, fine. Okay, good. Natsu isn't as impulsive to go into a rage as Gray is, or I should say not, he had a reason for thinking that Lucy was actually dead. She had blood all over her and everything. So, okay, so they both think their waifus are dead, and we all thought, oh, they're gonna everybody, even people who didn't ship anything, saw it coming from a mile away that Juvia and Lucy were gonna come and stop this. Because we also saw, okay, let's see, I have to go through, a couple of the pages so I could get to Juvia. Because they showed Juvia, I think, in this very chapter, and they showed Lucy too. Lucy's going after Natsu. She has to search for him. Here's Juvia. I must search for Grey-sama. Please, you shouldn't be moving in your current state. That's Wendy. If things continue as they are, Grey-sama will break completely. So, okay. Juvia can feel Grey breaking. Okay. And the very next panels, we see Grey's wound that Juvia healed for him exploding open, and that very precious blood that she gave him is coming out. Now, at the time, I thought that's what she meant by breaking. I figured she's feeling the magic inside him that she gave him, that she used, and that it's splurting out, and he's pushing himself too far. He should be resting. She just healed him, and he's already gone on one rampage to defeat Invul, despite the fact of, all of his injuries and how tired he must be, completely exhausted. And now he's, pushing himself even more by going after Natsu. So she's going after him too. She feels it, she senses it, and that's what I thought. But it's not that injury. It was that she knows Grey, and she must have realized that Grey thinks she's dead, obviously. So she needs to get to him, because if she doesn't, she understands at this point how much she means to him. Maybe not completely, but to the extent that she thinks, oh no, he must be in a bad state. She needs to get to him so he knows she's alive. Okay? And she was right. So let me get through this. Okay, so they're fighting, blah, blah, blah. And we see also the flashback that Natsu also thought Lucy was dead. And it's like, boys, just stop fighting. Just stop. They're both alive. You don't need to be so angry, puppies. It's okay. So this is basically the next chapters were obviously Makarov dying. Now, if anyone knows me well enough, and I've mentioned it in previous videos, I really wanted Makarov to die. I really, 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 really did. So bad, you have no idea. Because, not because I hate him. I didn't hate Makarov. I used to love Makarov. I adored Makarov. I thought he was the coolest thing ever. And, in Phantom Lord, I was like, oh my god, MVP of the arc. Hello, so cool. And even in Tartarus, the beginning of Tartarus, I was like, yes. Oh my god, protect your kids. But he should have died. He should have died there. He should have died. I would have wept. Crying, ugly, crying tears, but no, he didn't. And as the chapters have gone on, the story's gone on, and the arcs have gone on, he just should have not been there anymore. It's just that emotional impact needed to be felt ages ago by the guild, and he just wore out his welcome. As far as I'm concerned, as a character, he overstayed, and he should not be there anymore. And now I trust no death. I'm not mad at any of the deaths that we've had, but I because of these other ones, I'm just sitting there going, okay, Makarov, what I did like about this, first I'll say, what I did like about it is they explained fairy law, and that there's a limit to how, there's a price to pay every time you use it, that your life shrinks a little bit, and that your lifespan, basically. And I thought that was interesting, because that means you can't spam this attack. That's good, although I think they should have told us that from the beginning, but maybe that wasn't a limit at the beginning and Mashima hadn't thought of it yet, but I don't know, or that he was saving it. I just give benefit of the doubt he was saving it, but what, okay. But I did like that. I like that there's a limit. But yeah, so that part I liked. But I couldn't feel anything from Makarov dying, and the thing is, I really wanted, okay, Erza, I understand she cares a lot about her master, and, the guild is her only home, really, and her only family, and she thought of Makarov as a dad, but I wanted to see so much more from Laxus. I know we saw him in the very next chapter, but I wish we had been on Laxus and his reaction rather than Erza. That's me, because Laxus is the one who had all that turmoil and that relationship with Makarov. He's his grandson. So I really wanted to see more from Laxus, and I really wanted Makarov to finally approve of Laxus and hand the baton over to him as far as guild leader goes, because Laxus tried to take it by force, before, and then he realized, obviously he learned his lesson, and he came back, and he left for a while and then came back, and showed that he truly cares, genuinely cares about the people in his guild, and is a different person, a more mature person. And it would have been nice if we had that moment between them and Makarov, acknowledging Laxus in that way, and handing over the guild, or at least his approval, but we didn't get that, and we just got, Laxus not even like crying or anything, just kind of consoling Mavis instead. And I wanted it to be different. For me, that's me. And Makarov is a statue, because he basically used up the last bit of his life to do fairy law. And as long as he's a statue, I don't trust that he's gone. As long as the series is not ended yet, until it ends and Makarov is still dead, I want him to be dead and not dead. I just don't know if that's the case. I won't trust it unless he stays a statue. What are they gonna do with that statue, Makarov? What are they gonna do? Are they gonna keep it in the guild? What are they doing with it? They're gonna bury it? I don't understand why he's a statue. I don't trust. Sorry. As long as he's a statue, I don't trust. I feel like he'll come back somehow. Like, again, Fairy Heart will solve all problems. But yeah, or the one magic, I should say, maybe. So, yeah, he died, but I didn't feel anything, and that sucks. Because I don't trust it. So there's that. But yeah, so, okay, Makarov died, and then all of a sudden we see Erza show up in front of Natsu and Gray, like in between them, stopping that fight. At the time, I was like, why is it Erza? Why is she there all of a sudden? Why would she? But I understand, after I read the entire chapter, to me, it makes sense, and it was really sweet. Because, of course, Erza stopped the fight. She always stops their fights. That's the throwback. They're family. The flashbacks of them were so cute, them bathing together and everything. That was the funniest one. And it was just so cute, It's like, what do you two imbeciles think you're doing? And they're just like tears. She's crying, it's Erza. They're thinking back of how they didn't want to see her crying anymore, ever. Like, she needs this guild, and she doesn't want to see them doing stuff like this to each other. And it's so cute. You see them, like going on a mission together. You see them laughing together. You see them, like, her trying to break up their argument in the guild, and it's just really cute. So, I like that. And not only that, I like basically that Mashima showed, like, the juxtaposition of, like, this is their family, this is Erza, Natsu, and Gray, the family. Erza's the big sister, right? And then we got what we wanted, which is the waifus came in after the family moment to take care of their guys. So I liked that. That there was very clear definition of family and their ladies. Do you know what I mean? That was really sweet. And now I will talk. We got our Gruvia reunion. We didn't go canon. I didn't think we would. But we got our Gruvia reunion. But yeah. Here's what happened. Right? So, okay, let me go through it. Oh yeah, and Erza boobed them, by the way. Like, pushed them to her boobs. Love you both with every fiber of my being. And then we see the one panel. Grace-sama! And Grace I, with the exclamation of, oh my god. Like, he's thinking in that moment. He thought before, I'm never going to hear that ever again. That voice. And no one's ever going to call me that ever again. He was convinced she was dead. And then he hears, Grey-sama. And she's screaming his name, and you see he's in shock. And he turns, still completely in shock. Like, no way. No way is that. There's no way. But you see Juvia is fine, she says. Juvia is fine, though she's seen better days. So Juvia is fine. She knows that he was probably flipping out because he thought she was dead. She got that. She got that he was probably hurting because he thought she was gone. So she wanted to reach him to let him know that she's all right. And why does she know that he was thinking about her, that it would be something to do with her death, that she needed to clear that up ASAP? Because she saw what he did for her. He killed himself for her. He's done that twice. Now, the first time, she's probably still not aware that actually happened. But this time, she knows. And I'm sure she knows that the reason she did it for him is probably the same reason he did it for her. All right? But he did not confess to her. We didn't get anything like that, but we know what he feels. And she's probably 90-something% sure she knows how he feels too. But still, we need that moment. But yeah, so she's back. He sees her alive. And so she goes, yeah, so she's seen better days. And Charles is saying you're fine is a bit of a stretch, especially with those injuries. And Wendy's supporting Juvia. Juvia's shaking. You could see she's shaking. She basically should not be walking. She should not be going there. And again, we see Gray, just that expression of utter shock and awe and just disbelief on his face. Juvia. And I love this. He just drops. He looks like he's, completely, all that adrenaline he's been running on basically this whole time was basically just grief and rage. He doesn't need to feel either of those things anymore because Juvia's alive. Alright, she's back. She's not dead. He didn't lose her. So he can just relax because she's here. It's just that just hits you so hard. Like, Mashima's done such a great job with these Gray panels because we felt his grief when he was hurting Invul, as he should have hurt him because Invul was such a jackass. But the grief in his face and his just, I can't wait to hear this animated. Do you know what I mean? Like, to hear, like, Mai and Yukan just put everything into this. It's gonna be great. So, but yeah, I just love Gray falling to the ground at the sight of Juvia. He looks completely exhausted and emotionally and just like he can't believe it. Like, he looks like a zombie there, honestly. He's just like that. Like, really, she's alive. What? As Juvia rushes over to him, Kure-sama, and he collapses. He's passed out. She catches him in her arms the way he was holding her earlier in his arms. Honestly, there's so many parallels between them, you know. They strip together, they commit suicide together, and this is the next part. It's just like, of course this happened. Like, once Gray finally sees that Juvia's alive, they finally have reunited, and Gray passes out. And then Juvia passes out on top of him. Now, I really wished we had gotten another scene, another panel, I should say, of this. And Charles is basically reprimanding both of them. Well, this is what happens when you're overexerting yourselves. But yeah, Juvia passed out on top of Gray, still holding Gray. And it just looks so cute. But I wanted to see more of them, like, on top of each other. That was me. So I was sad we didn't get another panel. Basically, the kitties, you know, Charles and Happy took Gray and Juvia away to poor Usika after this. Obviously, you know, other things have happened in between that. But yeah, so Gruvia stripped together, kill themselves together, and pass out together. Here's the thing. I wanted Juvia to be awake because she didn't get a fight. She hasn't gotten in a fight. Shelly has gotten in a fight. Jalal's gotten in a fight. Sting, Rogue, Minerva, Lizana, and Elfman, and just people who are not even freaking Kagura, who are not even in Fairy Tail, are fighting Spriggans. And you could say, well, Juvia went up against Invul. Juvia, did things against Nineheart. No, nope, did never attacked any Spriggan directly. She fought offshoots of Nineheart's little frickin' dead peoples, and she frickin' fought Grey in that Invul fight. She did not fight any Spriggans directly, and I am mad. I will be forever salty. Like, if this is the last arc and the Juvia doesn't get an actual Spriggan fight, she fought walls, frickin' fake robot people. No, doesn't count. None of that counts. She needed to fight and launch some kind of direct attack against the Spriggan, and it was not happening. It's not happening. I'm completely convinced she's never ever going to fight any Spriggan because there's no one left. Who is she gonna fight? Irene is fighting in Erza and Wendy, as I thought that would happen, so that's fine. But I kind of, like, when Juvia came to get Grey, I was hoping she'd stay awake. I mean, obviously she's not in any condition to fight, so I know it makes sense, but I'm just so sick of her being sidelined. But I know it's not gonna happen. There's no place, there's nowhere left for her. No one, who's she gonna fight? Nobody. Larcade's fighting Sting and Yukino and Rogue and Minerva and... No, Minerva's not there. Minerva and Rogue were fighting someone else. I don't even remember who. Kagura, like I said. Why do people who are not even Fairy Tail members, why are they getting fights against Spriggan and Juvia didn't? I can't. Anyway, rant over. You understand. If you are a Juvia fan, you get it. But whatever. Okay, so she's gonna get her love returned. That's her consolation. But that's not cool. That's my opinion. So anyway, alright, fine. So, Irene is currently in the midst of fighting Erza and Wendy. We got a whole chapter or two about orgasm magic. Honestly, when I read that, I was just sitting there going, what? Why? And that's exactly what it was. Anyone thinks it's something else? No. Because Larcade even confirmed it. He goes, humans have basically 3 desires, which is sexual, hunger, sleep. And so that, to me, people who have had sex were affected by the orgasm magic. And, honestly, I have no surprises anymore with what Mashima does as far as, magic, strange, weird, fan servicey magic goes, because to me, the orgasm chapter was basically what the GMG's Zirconis Naked People magic chapter was in that arc. Because it was supposed to basically kind of break the tension, because things have been really heavy emotionally. And that's what it was in the GMG. Future Lucy had died, and then Grey died after that. So it was like that kind of tension break between really heavy events. So I understand that, and I am kind of curious in Larcade, but at the same time, I'm not really a fan of the Zervis pairing. Not that I'm not a fan of Zeref and Mavis. I like Zeref and I like Mavis separately. I don't like their relationship, because Mavis looks like a little girl still, so I find that a little... But whatever. Larcade is Mavis's and Zeref's kid, okay. I think Zeref made Larcade himself using something of Mavis's and something of his, and that's what makes Larcade their child. That's what I think, because I don't think that Mavis pushed out Larcade from her loins, okay? That's my opinion. But we'll see. I don't know. We haven't gotten to that answer yet, so whatever. Okay, so that's that. Let's put that aside, yes. Okay, so, but the next thing we see of Grey and Juvia, they're with poor Liusika. They are basically lying right next to each other. They're facing each other, but they're still unconscious. And, poor Liusika is like, Gray and Juvia are going to be alright despite their severe external injuries. And Brand has shrunk the marks, their scars, I guess, as far as Gray is concerned too. And I hope that what we're calling his Juvia scar isn't completely gone, because he has his other scars. He has his Leon scar, his old tear scar. He didn't keep his silver scar, which was like right across his chest. That was a bad one. And this one's a pretty big one too, but I kind of hope he does kind of scar, just to, like, to the emotional aspect of it. Like, how he said back ages ago when he got his Leon scar, like, I rather my scars be on the outside than the inside. And amen, Gray, because Juvia's alive, and this scar is merely external rather than internal. Thank God for that. So, yes. But yeah, they're basically together, they're just unconscious, and they're facing each other. So for me, personally, my little headcanon preference is I want Gray to wake up first. And I want him to slowly open his eyes, see Juvia lying across from him, and just be like, completely disbelieving at first. Like, am I dreaming? Did I really see her? Was she really awake? Is she dead next to me? Is she really here? And maybe, like, go over her and, like, just examine her. Like, is she alive? Maybe check for a pulse this time, Gray. I don't know. But something, like, just be in shock. I need more shock, and just to have him it hit him that no, she's actually alive. And then, and most people are not going to want this, okay? And I don't know if I necessarily want it either. I'm just trying to think from Mashima's perspective. I kind of think that maybe we'll get a joke. In that Juvia, again, I really do feel like Gray kissed Juvia. So wouldn't it be funny if he's leaning over her, he's studying her, is she alive? Poke, poke, poke. I know he's not going to poke her, but that would be funny. But yeah, what if she all of a sudden goes, oh my god, is Gray-sama going to take advantage of Juvia in her sleep again? Like something like that while Juvia is unconscious. And Gray's just going to be like, well, and we're going to have that moment. Like, I want, if he did kiss her, to either see that kiss that happened, or get a new one. Okay, because I mean, please, Sensei, please let us see a kiss for Gray and Juvia. Honestly, all the other stuff is like completely extra to me. Like, I mean, yes, I would love it if he proposed to Juvia. I would love that. Like, that would be wonderful. Or declared his undying love for her, although it doesn't feel like Gray to actually say it. He doesn't even need to say it anymore. Even Juvia pretty much gets the point at this point. But I want a kiss. I want a physical confirmation of the feelings from Gray, please. So I just want some throwback to that. I still don't know if we're going to go canon even when Juvia and Gray wake up. I feel like Gray still needs to fight Seraph, right? So I feel like help Natsu fight Seraph, because he still has a trick up his sleeve. He said he has it. We didn't see it yet. That was the really bad thing about the Gray and Natsu fight. It didn't go anywhere. We saw hardly any of it. It was like, yeah, what we saw of it was cool and everything, but Erza stopped it so fast that we didn't get a really badass fight. And I can only think that's because they're not supposed to be trying to kill each other. We don't want to see them going that all out against their own friend. We want that to be against a villain, an enemy. So I want to see Gray fight somebody important and use his ace up his sleeve he said in 453 is. I want to see what it is. So because of that, and because I don't feel like Juvia has any place in any of those fights, Seraph or whoever Gray goes up against, I feel like that it's going to be put on the back burner. Their feelings and the talk and whatever. The answer, right? The answer. That's what we've been waiting for. So I feel like that answer is going to be pushed to the back until Gray actually defeats someone, uses his magic that he's supposed to use, and therefore I feel like he's gonna have to leave Juvia again, and I do think Juvia is gonna be like, go. You know, I've waited this long. I could wait longer. I'd wait for you forever. Which she probably would. So she doesn't deserve to. But what would be nice is if Gray just said, you know, F this. And I don't want to wait anymore. You know, like I've waited enough. Look what happened when I waited the last time. She died on me. And so I would love it if he just says, you know, that, and just turns and kisses her and then goes off. You know, like, this is my answer, and we'll get to all the other fun stuff after the war. That would be amazing. Because then they would be canon, basically. But I doubt, I feel like it's not going to happen. I feel like we're still going to have things to anticipate, but who knows? I don't know. That's my thing. That's my want. So I want to kiss. I would love it if Gray kissed her. I would love it if that was the confession thing, you know, the answer. I would love it if we got it now. But then there's another part of me that likes to have something to look forward to. So if and I feel like that's also Mashima. You know, I feel like he's also thinking in that way. So I don't want for all the good stuff to be over already. I want, you know, because there's going to be more of the story left to tell, so I want there to be something Gruvia-wise to look towards. Okay? So that's my dilemma. Like, I want it, and yet part of me says, no, give me some of it, but then give me the best part at the end. That's me. Alright, I'm conflicted. I'm conflicted because I'm impatient too. That's the other thing. I'm impatient, but all this happened way faster than I already thought it would. So, you know, I mean, I didn't think Juvia would be alive so fast. I felt like this is one of the, like, the last chapter. Like, it would take 10 chapters for us to even know she was alive, let alone for Gray to run into Natsu, fight him, and then find out Juvia was alive, and, you know, have their reunion already. And like, I didn't think things would happen this fast. So that's the thing, that everything's happening faster, and therefore I'm not as impatient. I can wait on it because we haven't had to wait for anything. We had to wait for Gray and Juvia to actually have their fight, and to get to this point, that was a ridiculous wait. Like, from 453 to, like, 499, that felt like ages. That felt like forever. So I don't want that kind of wait, but I do want a little bit of a wait to keep the tension, you know, and the suspense in there, so that I can, you know, be anticipating something Gruvia for, you know, as the chapters go on. But yeah, that's me. That's where we are as far as the Gruvia thing. But again, I think at this point, Gray being in love with Juvia, there's no doubt. Whether you like it or not, there's no doubt. And we're just waiting for him to actually tell her that, or show her that specifically. Although I think him killing himself and saying, you know, you're not, you know, you're more than a friend, or, you know, what do you say? No, you're not a friend. You know, you, instead of just friend, you, not Nakamite. Yeah, you. Yeah, but yeah, we need the answer still. That's the point. So, yeah, I mean, the chapters have been great as far as Gruvia goes. I'm very satisfied with all the Gruvia. What was a complaint that I really needed, is that, you know, Mashima does a lot of extra stuff, like on Twitter, and, you know, he's had a couple of art books come out recently, and we got this really cute, like, lewd drawing of Juvia and all the other girls as well, and that was an extra with the newest volume. That was basically Juvia naked, of course, under the covers, and her covers are her comforter's gray, his face all over the place, like chibi gray faces. Her pillow, she has a gray hug pillow, like the one she gave him of her. And she had, like, gray sheets. So she's bundled in this cocoon of Gray-sama, and she's got her tongue out, and she just looks very devilish and, like, seductive, and, like, and a Japanese artist, Belrin, she drew a kind of, like, that this is from Gray's perspective. that this is Gray looking at Juvia. This is the view he has, and I'm all about that headcanon. Yes, please. So that's great. So, but and Mashima also drew recently on Twitter a sketch of Juvia with a Gray plushie. It was very cute. It was like on her hat. And I'm all for Gray plushies, you know? I love Gray plushies. I made a Gray plushie, and I made a Juvia plushie. I made many of them. But I want to see Gray and Juvia, the real Gray and Juvia picture. If I had a real disappointment as far as these chapters went, is that, and I'm pretty sure I said this when I did the chapter review of 499, we didn't get a nice chapter cover. We didn't. We got Juvia with a Scarecrow Gray, and I'm sick of Juvia with fake Gray, with Gray merchandise. Like, I'm not mad at that. I just want to see real Gray and Juvia every now and then. And the postcard was amazing. Okay, the postcard we got was great. That was gorgeous and so cute and sweet, but everyone got something like that as far as the couples went, except for Erza. But, you know, I'm just saying that why when Mashima always draws Juvia and Gray is never a real Gray. And that chapter, Gray and Juvia, if you weren't going to draw a nice chapter cover of the both of them, real Gray and Juvia, together there, when are you gonna do it? You know, that's what upsets me. It's like, because I don't see another opportunity for it unless it happens when they do actually go canon. And I don't trust that to be the case, because I don't feel like that's gonna be a focus of the chapter. Enough for them to land a chapter cover. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But I'm sorry. I'm mad at the chapter covers. We didn't even get on the volume cover. The Volume 58, which I actually have up there, the Japanese volume, does not, and the American volume obviously will be the same, but the volume doesn't have Gray and Juvia anywhere on the cover. Now, they've gotten a gorgeous cover before of just them with silver. This was 46, and I have it up there, so I'm looking at it. So they've gotten a nice cover dedicated to them before, but so many heavy things happened to Gruvia in this volume. Their fight happened here, and they can't even make the cover? Like, what? You know, I get it. Mashima wanted to draw all of the, you know, the Spriggan together, but it's just so frustrating because they didn't get a chapter cover either. So it's like, Gray and Juvia is a chapter, no chapter cover, no volume cover. And then when Mashima does draw Juvia, she draws Juvia with Juvia plus Gray merchandise instead of Juvia and Gray. So it's just really disappointing that we never get actual Gray and Juvia. So, yeah, that's my issue. That's me. This is my little rant, my little want. But then, what's funny is when I was talking about this again with my friend Marie, the very next day, which was literally yesterday, Sensei released all these couple pictures of verses. That was the theme. That was the original theme before he decided to do lewd pictures of the girls. I don't know why his editor or whoever decided this preferred the lewd girls to the, you know, still kind of lewd, verses theme that he had going on. Whatever. It doesn't matter because we saw them anyway. So it's fine. But, yeah, we got Gray and Juvia. Finally, real Gray and Juvia. It still isn't a sweet picture. But I'm okay with that because I like the suggestive ones too. A lot. You know, so we got Natsu and Lucy, and they had like several wrestling ones. It was funny. And we had arm wrestling with Gajeel and Levy. Poor Levy. He's never going to win that fight. And we had even, like, a really suggestive Erza one. And Erza never gets anything, so they deserve that they got, like, that suggestive one of, like, Erza on top of a really, like, I'm not a fan of Jalal. He bores the hell out of me, which is sad because I heart Seekheart from Grave Master, which is basically, you know, the first Jalal. I adore Seekheart, but Jalal just never interested me. I never really cared for him. But he looked really sexy there. Mind you, Gray and Jalal look really similar. Like, Jalal's literally just gray with blue hair and the mark on his eye, under his eye on his face. So, that, I mean, yeah, of course he looks good. But, yeah, that was a good picture. But let me get to the Gray and Juvia, which, of course, was my favorite. Duh. They're playing strip poker! They're playing strip poker. That was their verses. And what's so great about it is, oh, there's so much great about it. First of all, they're both basically practically naked. They're both topless, except well, I'll get into that. But Gray's blushing, which is the best part. He is so blushing, and he's sweating, and he's looking so intently at his card. Because obviously, whatever card is the highest is the person who wins that round, and they get to make the other person lose another article of clothing. So Gray, in my opinion, is looking so intently at his number 6 card because he is trying hard to be a gentleman. Because there was another picture of Gray and Juvia spinning with, again, they had all the couples doing the spin thing. Oh, I forgot Wendy and Shelia. Notice how I didn't even think to even mention them. But there was a Wendy and Shelia water gun fight picture too. That was another versus one. But yeah, my point is that there was a Gray and Juvia spinning one where he was trying not to look at her underwear, which would be clearly visible in that position. So he was looking up. I always get the impression that Gray tries hard. Not that he's not a pervert, he is, but he tries hard not to be one. He tries hard to respect Juvia and to respect not looking at her if he can help it, as far as her decency goes. And yet he tried to pick on her in the hot springs, but he was kind of cajoled into that, but he still went. Okay, he went to go see her naked. So there's that. It's just that when he's like in the position and she's seeing him seeing her, he tries to be a gentleman and show her respect, which I love. But so yeah, he's looking intently at the card because he not look at Juvia because again, she's topless. She's sitting in front of him. She ain't got no bra on. She's just covered up like this, and he's trying hard to not look. But he's also, I'm almost 1000% sure that he's thinking, God, I hope this 6 is high enough. God, I hope this 6 is high enough. God, I hope this 6 is high enough. And my question is, who is picking who's, like, do they decide what article of clothing comes off next, or does the person who wins decide? This is important because if it's Juvia deciding, that's hilarious, because Juvia still has her hat on. Like, she went for her top before she went for her hat. Like, the hat is more important than being clothed in this area? That I don't understand. So that's funny if that's the case, but I don't think it is the case. I think it's Gray deciding, in which case he's not that much of a gentleman, because, oh my god. Like, and he has one more article to go, as far as, like, she still has her skirt on. I don't know if she still has her underwear on. I'm gonna think she maybe doesn't. In which case, she's gonna end up with just a hat, which is so messed up. So yeah, I really think he's looking so intently to A, just not look at her because it's really not okay, and B, because he's hoping that 6 is gonna win him this game. And Juvia, on the other side of it, just looks, she's also blushing, she's also sweating a little bit, not as much as Gray. Gray still has his underwear on. Obviously, Gray did not have anywhere near as many clothes as Juvia, so Juvia's lost a lot in this game. And, yeah, so she's looking at the card, and she doesn't look happy about whatever number she's pulled. So I'm guessing it's low. I'm guessing Gray's gonna end up winning. But it's just such a fun picture because it does, again, it shows Gray is 1000% attracted to Juvia. And it's funny because they strip naturally now all the time. Even Juvia takes off her clothes right in front of Gray. We've seen them sitting in their underwear on a bed together. And Gray's totally cool. He's never mentioned anything about Juvia stripping. He never paid attention to it. But Juvia in her underwear is a very different situation from Juvia not in her underwear being gone. And likewise for Juvia, you know, she talks a big game, you know, when she was in the hot springs and Levy was like, oh, hi, Gray, and she came out and she's like, Goodissima, Juvia accidentally dropped her towel. Accidentally, you know? And she talks a big game, but here she is sitting across from Gray, mostly naked. And she's not embarrassed because Gray's naked, because she's seen him naked a lot of times, although she could be. Because she does often, like, cover her eyes. That's the thing with Juvia. She is very modest. But now she has a stripping habit, so there's an issue. But she's not aware of it, just like Gray's not aware of it, so it's, like, it's rubbed off. But yeah, they're both embarrassed, and it's just really cute and funny and sexy, and I really like it, and I want to see the end of that fight, like that match. I want to see what happens. So I'm kind of sad that it's just a picture, but I'm glad we did get real Gray and Juvia again, instead of just Juvia plus Gray plushie, or Gray cover, or Gray scarecrow. I'm okay with that as long as you balance it out with real Gray every once in a while, is what I'm saying. I'm still mad that there was no chapter cover. I'm still mad that they were not on the volume cover. And I will be mad about that unless we get an actual cover, because the last actual cover we got of Gray and Juvia, like a nice cover of them both really together, was back in like 270 something, I think, when we had the Unison Raid cover. I don't count the Unison Raid color pages that preceded chapter 322. I don't count that, because to me that isn't a chapter cover. That's just a really pretty color page that thankfully had Gray and Juvia on it, looking awesome together. And even then, if you did count it, that was chapter 322. We're up to chapter, like, what is it, 511 at this point? I don't even know. What chapter are we up to? Let me look. Yeah, 511. So, that's a lot, you know? Please give us some Gray and Juvia together with real Gray and Juvia that looks nice. I feel like, you know, they deserve it. Let's please. You know, I feel like we've gotten more Gray and Juvia chapter covers back in the day than we do now. We've had them separate. We've had allusions to their love for each other in this very arc. But I want them together, please. Just the two of them, looking cute and being lovey-dovey, maybe something similar to what we got on the postcard. The postcard's amazing. I'm very happy about the postcard. That was the best postcard in my opinion. Obviously, in my opinion. But yeah. So that. I'm pretty sure I covered all the Gruvia stuff that we've had thus far. There's a Mavis versus Natsu OVA out right now, and I haven't seen it yet. It's not out yet as far as I know, and so I'm waiting to see what that's about, because I saw some Gray and Juvia and Wendy. It's like, I don't care for Wendy. Like, I literally don't care about her. She saved Juvia's life, and I'm grateful for that. But I still don't care about her as a character, and I feel almost like Mashima knows this somehow, because she saved Juvia's life. She's in the OVA with Gray and Juvia, and I'm just sitting there going, there's Wendy again. It's like he knows, and he's like her, and I'm just like, I won't. But it's okay. I mean, I'm not mad. Whatever. It's fine. But I mean, I didn't expect any Gray and Juvia in this OVA anyway. I didn't expect it at all. So I'm happy that they're there together. And then we also have an OVA that's supposed to come out like next month, which is the Christmas one. And there is a little bit of Gruvia in there, mostly it's just jokes about other pairings, like Gravy and Grayza and Graylu and Gruel, because Gray shouts out, when they say, get on all fours, and he's all naked, and shout out, the name of the person you love, and he shouts out, ooh, Master, ooh, and that was hilarious. Okay, I'm not mad at any of that. No, because if Mashima makes me laugh, then it's fine. Like the sleeping bag thing in this arc, where Juvia ended up with Erza. Like, yeah, it was like, oh, of course, but it was funny. It it made me laugh a lot. So that's the point. If you can make me laugh, I forgive. Like the other stuff. So in this case, same thing. Like Gray grabbing onto Erza to try and stop her after he tells her to go out, walk home naked. She's trying to, she doesn't care. She's like, yeah, all right. And he's like, no, I was just kidding, stop. And she's like, get off me. It was the funniest thing ever. It was hilarious. And the whole, like, Gray looking into Levy's eyes thing, gravy, yay. And the hug with Lucy, and Juvia is just sitting there going, why is it always Kresama? And then, like I said, the whole, I love Master or whatever, and he's on his knees, and it's such a funny panel, and Juvia is just sitting there going, Juvia's heart is in pieces. That forever will be hilarious to me. It's just funny. But would I like more Gray and Juvia stuff put into the OVA to stretch it out? Yes, I would. I'm not gonna lie, I would. Do I expect it? No, because the punishment game disappointed me, and now I'm wary. The punishment game took away Gray's blush that he was supposed to have when Juvia was feeding him. And maybe you would say, oh, that's not a big deal. Oh, it's a big deal because Gray rarely does that. So that was a good thing. That was part of the joke that Gray was into it, and then he wasn't because Juvia choked him. But nope, we didn't get that because they took it away. So that sucked, and instead we got Gray being making out with a monkey. And I just... and being put off even more by Juvia and thinking of that monkey. So that's why, to me, I'm wary of what they're going to do with the Christmas special. I want there to be more Gruvia put in, because there really wasn't much Gruvia, if any, in the original. Like, you had Juvia hugging Gray, obviously, when she was all sad and drunk. And you had Erza thinking about the couples after she admitted she was jealous. And you see her thinking about Nalu and Gruvia and Gajevi. So it very specifically shows you that Erza, at the very least, sees Gray and Juvia as a flirty couple. Right? So there's that. That's good, but we didn't get any Gruvia, really. So I would like more. Not just the Gray doing things with other girls jokes. I want more Gruvia, and they end up naked at the end, basically. I mean, Juvia is like, I think she's topless and face down, and Gray is completely naked. So supposedly there's supposed to be an aftermath to that. Mashima's writing an aftermath, additional after story thing to go with that volume release and that OVA. So that would be great if that had any Gruvia, but I feel like it's just going to be more Jerza because that's how the story ended. So I want, but I'm not going to expect. So yeah, I guess that's the Gruvia update for the last couple of months. There's been Gruvia going on. It's just that I haven't really had a lot of time. The holiday season's really busy for me, like these 2 months, and I just haven't talked about it. Even on Tumblr, I haven't really posted hardly anything lately. So I just wanted, people, like I said, thank you for the guys, anyone who requested and wanted to see more videos from me. This is for you. I hope we'll get them awake. Gray and Juvia will be awake soon, maybe? I don't know. I feel like until we get the Irene fight's conclusion, I feel like we're not going to go back to Gruvia. But I mean, everything's happening so fast. Nothing has happened. Everything has happened as way quicker than I thought it would be. So maybe we will see them earlier than I think. But I really, at this point, I feel like until the Irene stuff is dealt with, we won't get the Gruvia awake thing, because it depends when Mashima next needs Gray to be awake. And I don't know what Juvia is going to do. That's the thing. Like, what if Gray wakes up but Juvia is still passed out? Because I don't know what her place is. What is she supposed to do after this? Gray is going to have something to do, but Juvia? I'd love it if she did. But no hopes. None, no expectations. Not a one. So, yeah, sad to feel that way. It really is. But, yeah, I've been talking over an hour. Of course I have. So, I hope it was worth listening to all this. And, Yeah, I want Gruvia. Bring it on! I want it. So we'll see what happens, and we'll see if they'll go canon when they wake up, or if we're going to really do have to wait until after the war for that answer. Let's see. So, yeah, it was nice talking to you. And, bye.